What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I've got good news. A good, happy story. A story of a tale of turning the tides of a fandom that wasn't sure that Witcher on Netflix would be worth investing any time in, given how woke the showrunner was, some of the early ball sack armor that we saw. People were worried, rightfully so. I mean, the Netflix adaptation meme isn't based on nothing. However, I've been turned into someone who's mildly excited about it. I went from saying, nope, not going to watch it for sure, to, yeah, maybe if it's on somewhere for free, and I'll watch it, to now I'm kind of like, well, I just need one more thing. Just one more thing to decide, all right, I'm going to invest the time. Because a lot of people forget about the time investment these shows take. You know, it's, as I get older, I commit less and less time to TV. It started out as like, oh, I'd watch TV. I used to watch certain shows all the time when they were on. I remember the last show I was like must-see TV for me was like Justified or maybe Longmire. I really watched a lot. Obviously X-Files back in the day. Early Game of Thrones, early Walking Dead. These were shows that I watched the night that they were on. But the most recent one was probably 5 years ago. And I think that's for good reason. As you get older, it started out as like, well, I'm going to watch this TV show, but I'm also going to be on my laptop doing something. To, oh, I've got stuff around the house to do. Or, you know, I used to be must sit down for the entire football game on Sundays. I'd watch a Packer game. I'd watch the pregame. I'd watch the postgame. Nowadays, I rarely sit around and watch it. I'm like using that 3-hour time span to clean or pick up around the house and, you know, be a good husband and a pet dad, you know, cutting the cat's nails during the Packer game. So I think that's just natural for most people. So when a show comes out, even a movie nowadays, and I'm like, everyone's got 2 hours to kill for the most part. So I can go see a movie even if it's mediocre. When you talk about a TV show, you got 5, 10, 15 episodes that are an hour long. You're talking about a major time commitment. And Witcher is slowly winning me over in an era where every single major media outlet likes to use this terminology of a toxic fandom. Henry Cavill just completely BTFO'd that. Now, yes, there are people that take things too seriously. The problem is when you dismiss any and all criticism from fans as simply coming from a toxic place, it's infuriating. It makes the angry fans, the passionate fans, more angry and more passionate. We see this with Star Wars, right? Basically, every single major critique that you could give about, for example, The Last Jedi was dismissed as you being a toxic fan, which couldn't be further from the truth. You know, toxic fans are the ones that see your movie the day it releases, that see your movie multiple times, that buy your merch, that buy your toys, that pay to buy it on DVD when it comes out. That's the most infuriating part of it. These fans that are the most passionate are the ones that spend the most money, and they've earned that right. Now, an interview with Jake Hamilton dropped yesterday. I don't know how this dude gets these interviews with major Hollywood celebrities. His channel is relatively small, but I think he works on the Fox network or something like that. Interviewed Henry Cavill yesterday, and I'm only going to go through the transcript because I'm not sure how this dude's going to react to people using clips. So we'll look to some coverage. This is on Bounding into Comics. Witcher and Superman actor Henry Cavill addresses concerns of, quote, toxic fandom. The Witcher and Superman actor Henry Cavill recently discussed toxic fandom while promoting the upcoming Netflix show. And as somebody who's seen the interview, he wasn't the one that brought it up. It was the interviewer who called fans toxic. So Hamilton says, the interviewer, there's something really interesting with this character that I find fascinating, that he genuinely really does just do the right thing. But everywhere he goes, whether it's a new town or new bar, people just kind of give him a hard time and they rag on him despite the fact that he has great intentions. I'm curious if that's comparable to this sort of world, the culture of toxic fandom. There is no toxic fandom culture, all right? I hate this. Ooh, I hate that term. Where, like, you make a movie, especially if you make a superhero movie and you have great intentions, but there's always going to be a small yet vocal group of people that can just be toxic. Now, again, what this terminology is set to do is to dismiss reasonable criticism with unreasonable criticism. Yes, some people are insane, all right? But what happens is that's like 5 people. But anytime anyone criticizes anything, media shills. I think they do it because they think that the stars will like it. Like they're standing up for the Hollywood multimillionaire elites. Let me tell you, they don't need your help. Cavill was cool as a cucumber in his response. Quote, I understand what you're saying, but when it comes to fans, it's a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have. You're moving the needle, Henry. I'm like this close. He continues, people are going to be upset when you're talking about books or games because you are never going to be the exact person that they had in their heads or who they played in Witcher 3, for example. I don't necessarily consider that toxic. I just consider that passionate. And it's something that which I obviously had to come to terms with over the years. Sure, it probably takes some getting used to as a Hollywood actor to have your Twitter feed like fill up with people that know more about Superman than you could ever imagine, picking apart all the things that you did wrong in the Superman movie. I get that. Cavill adds, for me, with the comparison, it's not like, with the comparison is not like that with Geralt walking into a bar. The comparison is more meta. It's more to do with how people react and colonialism and all those effects that has on people and who they divert their fear and energy towards. And that tends to be Geralt because he's the guy who exists outside society. He's not a part of a group when he walks into town. He looks so different from everyone else and no one can control him. He's faster, stronger, better at swords, and apparently can do magic as well. You can't control him and you fear him. And therefore, all of your energy, especially in a crowd of people, will be diverted at him because of everything that is happening above you in the world. Dude, Henry understands his character so deeply. I love it. The way Cavill answers a question really shouldn't be a surprise. The actor himself is a fan of The Witcher, comics, and video games. For example, he missed the call from Zack Snyder telling him he won the role of Superman in Man of Steel because he was playing World of Warcraft. In an interview on Conan, the actor revealed that he missed a call because he said, I had my priorities straight. What do you think of Henry Cavill's views on fandoms? Yes, okay. And interestingly enough, this wasn't covered either. Now, Lauren Hisrich is a purple-haired, if you look at her Twitter feed, it's exactly the kind of the Diet Coke, Uggs, pumpkin spice drinking woke takes that you would expect from any Hollywood person. But here's an interesting quote that didn't really get picked up by her either, and this is from back in November. Despite the fact the upcoming Netflix series Witcher is an adaptation of Andrzej Sapkowski's best-selling fantasy novels, there's still likely to be fans of the popular video game tuning in next month to see Henry Cavill's performance at Geralt. Hello, McFly. Those people are going to represent about 90% of your viewers, and 10% of your viewers will be people that only ever read the books. Now, actually, I should say 50 to 60% will probably likely be video game people. 20 to 30% will be people that enjoyed both the video games and the books. And then a tiny percentage will be people that only read the books. I Obviously, there are high expectations for the entire fan base, especially after what CD Projekt Red managed to achieve with the source material. So how is the team behind Netflix dealing with this? During an interview with the British magazine Sci-Fi Now, the showrunner, Lauren Hissrich, said, quote, "Rabid fan bases should not be feared as enemies. I love interacting with fans, probably a bit too much for anyone's taste around here. There's nothing more that I love than getting on Twitter and talking directly to the fan base." Although Lauren did like private her account or take a Twitter break after she got bombarded by people during the early stages and bad press. You know, I understand why people reacted that way. Everything looked really bad going into it. And that's how people react. They're going to react to everything, and they aren't necessarily as likely to heap praise on you when things look good. That's why I'm going to cover this video, and that's why I'm definitely going to, I don't know if Henry Cavill uses Twitter, but I'm going to tweet this video at him, but hope he sees it, because I really appreciate how he approaches it. And by the way, the dude should absolutely do more Superman movies. Are you joking? I really wanted to access their enthusiasm and their excitement for this. I think a lot of people really see rabid fan bases as enemies. And in fact, I think that these are the people who love The Witcher. These are the people who really want to take their enthusiasm. I really want to take their enthusiasm and grow their enthusiasm and learn from it. Hissrich isn't the only one to, quote, grow and learn from fan enthusiasm. Recently, Sonic movie director Jeff Fowler thanked his fans for the support and criticism of the Blue Blur's design and vowed to change the controversial design, which he did. In saying the passionate fans can sometimes get the better of creators, during an interview Eurogamer last month, Pokemon producer Junichi Masuda mentioned how negative comments often made the team feel a bit down at the times. Hey, look, I get it. As somebody who reads every email and reads almost every tweet and reads my every comment on the videos or tries to, there's obviously always negative stuff. And for whatever reason, whether it's human nature or, I don't know, it probably just is, the negative stuff tends to stick with you a little bit longer because you like your work and you hope that people like it, and you kind of have this expectation, especially after you've been doing something for a really long time. But when negative ones really stick out, even if they're unfounded. So that's just part of it. That's part and parcel of being a content producer, whether you're on a basement Beardos level or you're on big Hollywood budget or Netflix and things like that. But interestingly enough, if you look at this dude's YouTube channel, he does a lot of Hollywood interviews. I noticed that most of them have comments and likes and dislikes enabled. For whatever reason, I don't know why, this one has the likes and dislikes disabled as well as the comments. I guess Jake Hamilton could learn a thing or two from Henry Cavill about criticism. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.